I've all the stuff I've heard over the last 5 or 6 years, I've never heard no one. You heard of the common law, but no one has ever said, "How do you get there?" They always just talk about it, mention it.
Right, because what they do is English common law, and I just do the basic common law. Like, see, LORE is common law, and not LAW. That's the legal society's way of spelling the word law.
How do you spell it? How did you spell law in the common way?
LORE. If you Google LORE, it'll just say the traditions, practices, and customs of a people.
Oh, common law. Okay, common. Okay.
Right, it's not common law. It's all folklore.
Right. Okay, I got you.
A lot of people call it folklore. But it's
right.
It's what everybody knows. Everybody knows you can't steal. I don't care. Everybody knows. Everybody knows you can't cheat. Everybody knows. Everybody knows these very simple, basic concepts. I don't care where in the universe you go. Everybody understands this. I don't care where in Vulcan. You take away a Vulcan kid, they're going to go nuts.
Right.
Say, well, it's in the best interest of the kid. They're going to kill you. You don't take something away that belongs to somebody else. You just don't do it. But they're going to take a piece of paper and convince you that they can do it. It's like, I don't care. How would you like some Vulcan comes here and grabs your kid and walks off with it? It's like, well, we're doing it in the best interest of your child. Here's a piece of paper. We're gone. You're like, get up.
Right.
Dude, you better take your hands off my kid before I kill you.
Right.
We're the great Vulcans, and we're better than you. Look at us. We're green, and we're so much better than you. We're so much smarter. We're doing what's in the best interest of your kid. It's like, yeah, right. You drop your green hands off my kid, man. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your piece of paper says. You touch what belongs to me, you have a bad day. It's that simple.
Right.
And the legal society makes it seem that it's okay for them to do it. I guess because they're not green, I guess they think they can get away with it.
Right, exactly.
But to me, it's still mine. You better take your hands off it, and I mean now. And I told people, I'm just trying to get people back into that mindset. That's mine, and take your damn hands off it. It's that simple.
That's simple. You're right.
Right, and I'm not making it complicated. I won't do it. I won't do it. I will not go there. I will not trick people into thinking it's more complicated than that. And I'm telling you, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when this takes off on YouTube and people start learning it, they're going to say, Karl Lentz who? Well, they're going to say, what? Somebody had to explain to you to say that's mine, take your hands off it, that's mine, give it back? What do you mean? Somebody had to teach you, Daddy, how to say that? Oh, come on now. Oh, yeah, there's this real smart guy named Karl Lentz, and he taught us, they'll say, oh, Dad, please. I'm 3 years old, and I knew how to do that. I'm not going to be, it's funny, what I'm passing on, if it catches on, people are not even going to remember who is because it comes so naturally and it comes so simply to everything on planet Earth. They're going to say, there's no way some guy had to explain this to you. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
A caveman would understand. It was funny. I wish some guy called me up again, man. Some black guy called me up, and he went back to his motherland or homeland or whatever they call it over there in Africa. And he said he went to the village where he came from. He said they had no books or no radio, no electricity. He just wanted to go visit his people. And he said, when I walked into that tribe and I walked into that village and I started talking to him, to a translator, he said, man, it looked like I was walking into a tribe of Karl Lentzes. He said, everybody sounded just like you. I said,
wow.
I said, that's right. I said, because I'm teaching you stuff like my dad. He couldn't read or write. He didn't learn nothing from no book. He just learned things from his dad, that's my dad taught me. He said, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing you. He says, but this is what my daddy did, and he said his daddy did it, and I'm sure his daddy did it. He says, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I'm teaching what I'm teaching it, but he said, all I know is this is my job and this is what I got to do. Nothing personal, kid. But he's like, I got to beat the shit out of you to put the knowledge in you. So it's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, Daddy beat the shit out of me. That's right, because you had to pound knowledge in. The shit had to go somewhere, so it had to come out.
Right. Right.
So.
Well, that's great. I thank you for it, man, passing it on. Because, like I said, I've heard a lot of things, and this made the most sense out of it. All the UCC stuff and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because, like I said, I'll give you an even better example. Because I could tell you from the MLK area. It's funny, man. They wouldn't have, Disney pulled some movie called The Song of the South.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever hear about that, the movie Song of the South?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, well, it was about this young boy who his daddy was this young white boy whose daddy was so damn busy trying to become successful up in Atlanta, like during the Civil War time, that he didn't have time to take care of his own kid. And then his mom was so busy, just running the house that he was basically on his own most of the time, the boy. So the boy, I believe how the movie went, I'm not sure, I know the book goes, the boy had a dog, and mom didn't want the dog in the house, so the mom threw the dog out, and the kid wanted to run away. So he ran into the woods, and he stumbled into some black man named Uncle Remus, an old white-haired black man named Uncle Remus. And he was just watching this old black man, and he thought he was hiding real good. And the old black man saw the boy, but didn't come towards the boy, scared the boy off or nothing. He just started talking to his animals that he was tending to, Uncle Remus tended to. And he was talking to animals and saying, you know what, I bet your mother would, like a puppy or a kitten. It's like, I bet your mama really misses your kitten. I bet, it'd be a good idea if you went back to your mama. I bet she's looking for you high and low, and I bet she's crying. I bet she's got apple pie waiting for you. So, the white boy went home eventually. But then the white boy liked watching this old man by himself on his little farm, so he kept watching the old man, through the woods. And then he had a little white girl, his little girlfriend or whatever, come would listen to this old man talk to the animals. The old man knew these kids were there. So he was passing down, like, stories through his animals to the kids, to the white kids. And what was funny is he was teaching them some very wise ways of looking at the world and wise ways of acting, And he was teaching the kids. He was raising the white kids, neighborhood white kids were being reared by his stories because the white man was too busy working in Atlanta and the mama was too busy worrying about keeping up appearances at home. Nobody had time for the kids.
Right.
So Disney pulled the movies. They had a whole bunch of black folks say, this is racist. I said, racist? I said, this is showing you that white people are too damn busy acquiring stuff and worrying about what the hell their house looks like. And these white kids are actually learning practical skill, knowledge, survival skills from an old black man. Oh, no, we can't have that. Why not? To me, it looked ridiculous. I actually had black folks saying that that's a racist movie. It's like, what? It's like, oh, that makes the black guy look stupid. No, it looks like he looks like the other cast. And he's talking in single-syllable words like me. I talk very simple, very plain, and I make it so a 3-year-old can understand me. Now, I could be Uncle Remus of the white world. That's fine. I don't care because I'm passing down this knowledge in the simple form as possible to have the younger people learn how to survive what they're up against when they walk out into the world. So, like I said, it's amazing. And I had a lot of people, I buy that book and read the book, and they're like, holy cow, there's a newspaper, like a editor or publisher, back in the 1800s who wrote a whole series of these books. And it taught a lot. And all it is the older folks like me teaching the younger folks, basic practical skills. And this is what we're looking at when we walk out that door into the public. And when you walk into the public, you have to act like a man. And like I said, you have 3 lives. You got your public life, you got your private life, and you got your secret life. But when you walk out that door, you better know how to act like a man. And when you walk into that courtroom, you better know how to act as a man. You better know how to act as a man.
Right.
If you don't, we're going to teach you how to act, and we're going to pull the strings, and you're going to act this way from now on. So that's all I'm trying to do. So it's funny. I mean, I can't believe that people don't know it as simply as I do. But like I said, I got lucky, and I had a dad who was like an Uncle Remus who couldn't read or write English.
Right.
But he just knew what he knew because he knew from what he was taught from older people before him. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just passing this stuff on. And I can't believe how popular it's getting. I thought everybody knew this stuff. When I hear people tell me they don't know this stuff, I go, you got to be kidding me. How don't you know this? I've known this since I was a little kid. Maybe I don't know all the ins and outs of how to write a certain piece of paper in court. That I learned. But how to talk and act like a man, and, you think you're my daddy? I don't care what uniform you got. I don't care what that piece of paper. Like my dad would say, somebody tried to throw a piece of paper in front of his face, he'd say, he couldn't read or write, but he didn't let them know that. I'd say, I don't care what that says. What, did you write that? No, I didn't write it. No, what the hell do I care what it says? You know what it says? Yeah, well, that's goody for you. I don't know what it says. You didn't write it. I didn't write it. You didn't write it. Why don't you get the man down here who wrote it? Tell me that, somehow I'm bound to that piece of paper. Show me. It's like, well, I'm just the guy's messenger. I'm just a cop. I'm just a messenger. I don't give a damn. You bring that man down here who says I've done something wrong, and then we'll talk. Well, the commissioner says, or the county says, yeah, well, I never met that man. I said, you tell that man, come on down here and you tell him I've done something wrong, and then we'll talk. So that's all I'm doing, teaching you guys. That's basic, simple stuff. I made a whole bunch of videos last weekend. So I'll try to send you some sort of a link when you send me that way, because I'm trying to make my stuff simpler and simpler. And like I said, even the man in England, when he was on my show, he told me, he said he was starting to talk in court and move the court and act in court, and he said the judge stopped him right in the middle of the sentence, and the judge said, sir, I think you're trying to evoke the common law, like conjure it up, like call it up. I think you're trying to rely on the law. And he said, yes, Your Honor. And he said, well, let me give you one big hint. Keep it to one-syllable words. Make it simple, like me, Tarzan, you, Jane Steele, bone, give back, bone. Just keep it simple, son. Because if you try to talk like a lawyer, you're going to lose control. You're going to go over into the legal land, and you're going to get into a whole bunch of trouble that you can't only imagine. But the judge just said to him, keep it simple, the judge said to him, literally, on the show, the guy said, the judge said, I see what you're doing. You're trying to evoke common law. Let me give you a hint. Keep it to one-syllable words. And that's what I tell people. Keep it simple, keep it plain.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. No A+ star from the English teacher. She sees when that lawsuit, she's going to give you an F. She's going to say there's no consistency here. There's no periods. There's no flow. There's no creative words. There's no adjectives. This is boring. This is a third grader can write this. It's like, yep. And everybody can understand it. That's right. It's like, well, there's no, creativity here. Good. It's just black and white. That's mine. Give it back.
Yes, sir.
All right, Malcolm.
All right. Okay. All right, Carl. I'll email you today, and you can let me know what you think.
All right. Good enough, man.
Thank you so much for calling me back. I appreciate it. God bless.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Hey, who's this?
This is Dr. Kostick in Texas. I was just listening to y'all.
I've been listening to you probably for about 2 or 3 years. That thing you just said, when some agent comes up and wants you to hand you a piece of paper and say, well, are you the one making the claim? Well, no, I'm just serving this piece of paper. No. You said if someone's done me wrong, if I've done someone wrong or owe them something, you send them here. That's the biblical concept of if someone's done something wrong, if some man comes and says you've done me wrong, well, tell me what it was, because I don't remember.
Right. I wish to act. Right.
It's real simple, right? You explain it so simple, and I've studied the Bible since I was 8 years old. I'm 66 now, and I'm going, wow, that's so simple. All this other legalese crap and accepting papers from people you don't even know or ever even heard of is bullshit.
Oh, yeah. No, every single person that works for some sort of collection agency, I always say to them, can you show me your delegation of authority? What? Can you show me where the man who runs the Bank of America actually told you that you could act on his bank's behalf?
Yeah.
You just show me that piece of paper and we'll go from there. Well, I'm a bill collector from Bank of America. I said, yeah, okay. Well, I'm a bill collector for J.P. Morgan. I'm a bill collector from Wells Fargo. I'm a J.P. collector from Chase Bank. I was like, okay, you got a letter from Jamie Dimon, the president of Chase, and saying that he authorizes you to act on his behalf of him and his bank, that you could collect on a debt. You get that piece of paper? I sure don't see it. I looked all through his case file. I don't see a damn thing that says that you got the right to collect on a debt. Are you trying to steal somebody's money? Are you in here today swearing up and down that I owe a debt? And do you got any proof of that? You going to bring somebody in here and you got a letter from Jamie Dimon himself saying that you could act on his behalf? Well,
what's the matter with the man or woman coming up here and talking to me? Whether they chicken shit or they just got in-house ways or they're scared or what?
Well, they know better than to come here because they know it's all based on fraud, and they know I'm going to destroy them in court. They know I'm going to ask them simple questions, and then I'm going to be able to answer them. I want to ask them a simple question. Have you accrued any kind of financial loss, harm, or damage by my actions or inactions? No, sir. Well, then who the hell are you to move open a court, man, when there's no damages? Because no actions could arise without damages, sir. You do know that, right, Sir Dave Jamie Diamond? Well, yeah, I do know that. So you opened a court, and you know that there's no action because there's no damages, and you did it anyway? Well, no, I didn't say you owed the bank any money. Well, who did? You see what I'm saying? It's just a lot of fun, once people start talking simple and plain again.
Yeah, like you said, who or what says I owe them anything?
Right.
Bring them up here. Bring them to my face,
Yeah, that's it. No, it's that simple.
Real simple.
Yeah, no, it's not like I do.
Because of the de-education process that we've gone through for decades, people have I got one here close by me that's having a hard time grasping it. He's gone into the legalese shit and just can't get what you're saying. I don't, I think it's some kind of mental disorder.
Well, look at my sister. She's a school teacher, and she told me, man, I don't know, it must be about 10 years now. She said they stopped teaching grammar in school.
Yeah.
She said they stopped teaching, how to form sentences, punctuations, semicolon. She said they just stopped. That people, our kids don't need to know grammar. They just, they need to know. They just, need to put their name on this form. The form's already filled out for them. They don't need to know how to write a letter. We got that for them. Just put your name on this form, and that's it,
Yeah, sign here. Sign here.
I mean, they still teach them reading. They still teach them how to read the form. So it's all voluntary still. The judge could say, did you read that form that you signed? Yes, sir. Did you understand everything on that form? Yes, sir. What did that form say? And then he reads it like a parrot. And, he doesn't actually know what it means, but he just reads it like a, trained monkey, a trained parrot, a trained, dog,
Pronounce the words.
Yeah. It's like, okay, good, you read it, so now it's all voluntary. You signed it. Yeah, sign the form. But they're not going to say, hey, Judge, why do you got a comma in here, or why do you got a semicolon, on this form? What is this form? What is it really reading? Because I don't understand why you put a semicolon there. So, like my sister said, they stopped teaching grammar in school about 10 years ago. So kids don't know, how to even form a sentence.
Well, what they did in my day, they separated history, which was bullshit, from English, and they put English in some of the grammar in English in the most boring freaking stories that possibly could be. And, of course, the history was more interesting. I got to put history and English and grammar together, but the history was a lie, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the history is whoever wins the war, right? Whoever's got the gun makes the history books.
Yeah. Then they took prayer and Bible classes out of school back in 63, 64. Now look what you got.
Yeah. Controlling the people at the end of a gun, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I went home and complained about taking Bible prayer and Bible study out of school. My parents said, "Well, that's just the way it is." I said, "You ought to be good. Don't go down to PTA and tell them you're pulling me out of school." And the whole damn school should be saying the same thing. Well, you can't fight City Hall.
Like that Roosevelt guy said, Teddy said, if the people won't govern themselves, we'll govern them.
Yeah.
If you guys are ungodly, unruly people, we'll rule you. We'll make you. We'll be your God. If you don't have a God, we'll be your God. You don't have a God, well, we'll be one for you. How's that? We'll take care of your God problem.
Well, the Ten Commandments is the foundation of this country, and the ninth commandment is do not bear false witness, and that's all that comes through the system nowadays, pretty much.
Right. But like I said, when people were complaining about that Obamacare and how it became enacted into law. Yeah. The Justice Roberts guy, everybody's like, wow, I can't believe Justice Roberts, a conservative, said that Obamacare was constitutional. And it was. What it is he like in his opinion, he said, Obamacare isn't for the people of the United States of America. Obamacare is for the citizens of the United States, not for the people.
Right.
So if you don't know the difference between the people of the United States of America and the citizens of the United States of America, that's not his damn problem that you don't know the difference.
180 degrees off from each other.
Right. Right. So one is for he was saying, Coca-Cola could create an insurance policy for their, their members of their family, for their members of their company, for their employees, for their citizens, that's fine. Because that's a citizen, it's just a member of a family. Yeah. That's fine. Do whatever you want for your family. It's not unconstitutional, but don't think you're going to do it in the name of the people. The people have nothing to do with it. But the citizens, yeah, sure, you can do whatever you want to the citizens. You can do whatever you want to your child spanking.
It's voluntary.
Right. If you wish to be a citizen, then he can make business for you because he's Daddy Obama. He's the daddy.
That's why you brought out. Man and woman is very important to be a man or a woman.
Right. And you agree to play by the rules. If your daddy wins this time, you listen to your daddy. If somebody else's daddy wins, well, you listen to that daddy. If you want to be a voter, go ahead and vote for a daddy. You need a daddy, go get a daddy.
Yeah.
You need somebody to lead you, God bless you. I'm okay. I don't need no daddy. Thank you anyway. I got this covered. Yeah. I remember in my life where I ever went to the federal government for help, and I said to the federal government, please help me. I don't remember one time that they said, yeah, here you go. Whatever you need, we're here to help. Yeah, right. And I said, hey, man, the state took my kids. Can you help me? Don't call us up. Don't bother our office with that nonsense. We can't do anything to help you. Blah, blah, blah. Go learn how to be a man and take care of this business yourself. That's what they told me. They said, there's nothing we could do for you. When you know how to act like a man in court, you'll be able to figure it all out on your own.
If you go ask them for something, they say, here, sign here.
Yeah, well, no. They'll just say, we can't help you.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody go up to the feds or federal court or anybody say like that and just say, they said, oh, yeah, here you go. Here's all your dreams come true.
Yeah.
No. I never heard them say, here's a blank check. Here you go. Here's all your problems solved.
They'll take from you, though.
Oh, yeah. They don't say, we print the money. We'll just make more. Oh, wow, bless you. Forgive me that. Yeah, that's okay. We print the money. We'll just make more. Just like Greenspan said, on that, who's that man who died on NBC? The big Irish guy. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he said on that guy's Sunday morning show, he says, what national debt? What U.S. government debt? He says, I had my finger on the button. Chris Matthews, I think. I don't remember his name. The man who, not Chris Matthews, another one. The man who died. Looked a lot like Chris Matthews.
Walter Cronkite?
No. He's an Irish guy. Big Irish guy, man. Oh, no. He was a Sunday morning talk show guy on NBC for years, man. He had a stroke, just before one of his shows and died. I'm trying to remember his name. But anyway, good guy. Good, just regular Irish guy, Boston kind of guy. And he just said, Greenspan just said, what debt? He said, I hit the button, we all go back to zero. He says, there is no debt. He says, what the hell are you talking about? Who do we owe? We don't owe anybody. There's no man or woman who's going to say we owe any damn thing. Who's going to come here? What, some guy named Bob who's going to say I owe Bob $18 trillion?
It was like Greenspan. There's a Greenspan YouTube where he says what got him taken out of office, Greenspan. He said something like, there is no debt or something like that. We just print money out of thin air. It's still on. I looked it up about a month ago.
He didn't say he said that? He said that?
Yeah, he got taken out being president of the Federal Reserve for saying it.
Yeah, well, that's
Google Greenspan says something that gets him taken out of the presidency of the Federal Reserve. It was up last month. It was been up for a long time.
Because that's what I tell people to look for it all the time on the internet. I said, you'll find it. I said, Alec Greenspan was on this man's show. I remember seeing it back in 1990, 2000, 2001, right around there.
Yeah.
And Tim Russett, that's his name, Tim Russett. See, I knew I'd get his name eventually. You're old enough, you probably know who Tim Russett was.
You're good at that.
Yeah, so Tim Russett says, asked him on a show, and he just starts laughing about it. He says, what $1 trillion debt? There's no such thing. He says, who do we owe? Some man named Bob, some guy named Bob's going to say, hey, United States government, you owe me $18 trillion, pay it up.
Yeah.
Who do we owe? Nobody. There's no man we owe. Who do we owe?
He said something like that, and it got him taken out of the...
Hey, whether he said it or not, I can say it right now. I can say right now we got a $100 trillion debt. Who is going to come to court and say the people of the United States of America owes me $1, or owes me $100, or owes me $1 billion?
Ain't going to happen.
No man is ever going to come forth and say, open up a court and say, you know what? The United States of American people, the United States of America owes me $100. Oh, yeah? How's that? Well, see, they're in debt. See, and they borrowed this money from me. That's ridiculous.
They can borrow from the United States citizens.
They borrow. Did they borrow from who? Not a what? They borrow from who?
Yeah.
I didn't ask you what they borrowed from. I asked you who did they borrow this money from?
Yeah.
Who? From Bob Smith? Al Johnson? Who do they borrow this money from? Tell me.
Birth certificates, probably.
Oh, who? Not what? Who?
Yeah. Yeah, who? Yeah.
And what? I said who.
Yeah, you're right.
Of course I'm correct.
Exactly.
Who did they borrow this money from? Nobody.
Yep.
What they borrowed it from? I don't give a damn. They could borrow it from a pine cone for all the hell I give a damn. That pine cone prints money, God bless him. You know, the pine cone puts zeros and one digits on a computer somewhere and puts a whole bunch of zeros behind it. God bless that pine cone. I don't give a damn.
It's funny. You know,
as long as that magic keeps happening, I don't give a damn how it's happening.
Yeah, I've come to that realization myself. I used to go, wow, man, this scheme is hard to wrap your head around. It's real simple.
It's real simple. Who do we owe the money to? Nobody. And the more and more you guys are starting to figure this out, the more and more you guys will start calming the hell down.
Yeah.
Stop saying, oh, my God, we're $20 trillion in debt. Oh, my God, you know, this is going to, what's going to happen? Who's going to come to court and make a claim for that money to be paid? Who? Who's going to
If everyone gets this down, they're going to chill out, start living life.
Everybody's just going to mellow out and say, holy shit, this is a lot of fun. Except for the people who are trying to, suck the life out of people, like lawyers and judges and stuff like that. You know, people like that who are trying to get people to lose their homes that they paid, they put $900,000 into on a $100,000 loan, and they're trying to take it back on, because they owe 2 months mortgage and they can't pay it or something like that. And it's like, wait a second, this guy just spent $900,000 keeping this place up for 30 years. You're going to take it away from him? What? $20,000? $30,000? Oh, come on now, stop. Without that man, that house wouldn't have been there. Stop trying to steal this man's house.
And they laugh about it.
Right. You know he put equity into this thing. You know he's entitled to a hell of a lot of it. Maybe he can't pay you back the last $20,000, $100,000, whatever, but, you're going to pay him everything that he put into it? You're going to give him all that money back for the upkeep and maintenance of it for all these years? Well, no. When he put in a deck and a driveway and a pool, you're going to pay him for that? No. It's like, well, gee, that's just swell you. You're just going to steal from the man then. Well, if we get away with it, yeah. If he doesn't know any better, of course we are.
Yeah.
That's just insane. They know better.
Yeah, they know better.
When I bought a truck from somebody a year ago up in Pittsburgh, he was so excited selling me the truck because I didn't realize there was a mechanical problem with it, but he was so excited. I just gave him an envelope with money, and I said, you count out, the $3,500. So he was so excited, he counted only $2,500, and I was watching him count, and I realized he miscounted. So then I said, we signed the paperwork and gave me the keys and all that stuff. I said, you're very happy with the transaction? We're okay with everything? Everything's fine? You're all right? He says, yeah. He says, I'm happy as hell. I said, okay. You want to count that money again? He says, no, it's all here. I said, yeah. You want to count it again? And he counted it, and it was only $2,500. And I said to him, now would you like the $35 that we agreed on? And he's like, well, yeah, sure. That'd be nice of you. I said, I don't have to give it to you. I said, but I will. I said, and part of me, when I drove it home from Pittsburgh, some man named Mark from Detroit, he's a nice guy from Detroit, I know, Mark, trying to Chaldean. He's a Chaldean, and like Persian. And he speaks, their language. I'm trying to remember their language. Armenian and Aramaic he speaks. And he followed me home while I was driving a truck. Well, I drive trucks very, gently compared to Mark. And Mark drove it the last quarter mile of the way home from my buddy's shop. And he hit the brakes, and his foot went right to the floor. And when I got it home, I saw this man just rigged up the brakes just to make it down the road, but all the brake lines were rotted, and I had to replace all the brake lines. Now, I could have died on the way home from West Virginia. I had to go over the West Virginia mountains, Maryland, and I had to come down into the valley. Shit. And this man sold me a truck, with some Jimmy rig nonsense in the brake system. He just put a little piece of 2-inch tubing in there. And since it was Pittsburgh, it was all salt rot underneath there. And he knew that the brake lines had to all be replaced. Yet he sold me a truck.
Wow.
So, I did the right thing, and I paid him the $35. And I could have just left, and just said, screw him. But then I'm thinking to myself, maybe if I said screw him and I kept the $1,000 in my pocket, the brakes would have went to the floor on me going down the mountain. And that would have served me right for screwing this guy out of $1,000.
Yeah.
But now, since I had bad brakes, it didn't cost me too much money to get them replaced because me and my friend know how to do this for a living. It only cost me $300, but still, the guy should have been decent enough to say, look, man, you were nice enough to tell me about the money. I got to tell you the truth, too. The brakes are shot. Be real careful on the ride home, okay?
Yeah.
I said, well, you could have showed me, like, look, it leaks from right here, and I had to put a piece of tube right here to just get me home one day, but I'd be real careful if I was you. And then he could have said to me, now, if you want to, you don't have to buy the truck. I'll give you back your money. But see, some people just work that way. And that's what I try to say about, like, lawyers and judges like that. They know that you're getting a bad deal. They know they could jump up and say, hey, you know what? That's fine. You didn't object. This is wrong. You know what? I'm going to step up and say, look, sir, the bank is going to take your house. You owe $100,000, $60,000, whatever. They're going to take it. Let me tell you what, sir. I'm the judge. Honestly, you must have paid how much money for upkeep and maintenance over the years? $300,000-$400,000 in interest. You made a lot of payments on this home. You kept it up. You paid all the taxes. You're entitled to something. Why didn't you come back and make a claim for equity, or at least sweat equity, for the maintenance of the place? Because if you didn't take care of it for 20 years, it would have turned into a jungle. It would have been ridden by, rats and raccoons and squirrels. It would have been destroyed if you didn't take such good care of it for the last 20 years and keep painting and fixing the roof and washing the windows. It would be a pile of dust by now. So why don't you make a claim for the least sweat equity, sir? I'm not going to let the bank walk off thinking it's funny and laughing while you're crying. You know what? This ain't right. And like I said, because I don't see judges doing that, and they know that's the right thing to do, but they're like, no, you know what, I can't help one side or the other. Oh, bullshit. That's still your fellow man. He's still being harmed. You got to even forget the fact that you're a cop or a soldier or whatever. You're pointing a gun at another man.
Have you ever looked on wallbuilders.com? That's a guy that has the foundation of our country written on biblical principles, just like you're talking. You treat your fellow man. They got a book in 1600s that was, or 1649 or 50, the ethics of the Bible. That's where the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, all those principles were laid out. And he's got a really good site on that.
Right. Well, I'm saying it's nice that people could read it in man's written form of words, through publications. Yeah. But this is how I try to drill it into people's skulls like crazy. My dad couldn't read or write. Yeah. So constitutions and declarations of independence and Bibles meant nothing to him. Nothing. Yeah. Meant zero.
The principles of right and wrong was in his mind.
Was in his heart.
Yeah.
A dog knows when he's doing wrong. A dog knows when he's doing right. A dog knows when they're stealing from another dog. A dog knows the consequences of that theft, that other dog is going to try to tear its throat out. Everything knows the chances of right or wrong. Everything has some sort of a consciousness like that I'm not an understanding, that you can't steal that which is not yours. And for some reason, people are being led to believe that if we put it on a piece of paper, it makes it okay to steal. So they try to reason it, they try to, defy nature, defy the laws of nature.
Well, and what they do, like I think you've said before, someone has said, that the way they sleep at night is he did it to himself because he didn't know the law.
Well, like I say to you, it's like, like there has to be good and evil in this world. There has to be a balancing act. The people who believe what they believe, they don't believe they're evil. They believe what they're doing is okay. So somehow their mind just works at that level. And my mind works at this level. So obviously I attract people, half of the world who likes my style, and then you're going to have the other half of the world that believes in abortion and, post-abortions and eugenicists. And they're going to have the other half that totally believe, hey, you know what, if they're 65 years old and they're not productive and they're a consumer instead of a producer, you know what, they should be taken someplace and just put out the pasture, and stop consuming. So it's like I said, if you go to YouTube, since you said that about YouTube. Go to George Bernard Shaw. He had a really long white beard back then. and he wrote Pygmalion, My Fair Lady, that guy. And that My Fair Lady was taking like a piece of crap woman, got a snipe in the street and making a lady out of her. That kind of guy, eugenicist, somebody who thinks he can manipulate, people. And watch what he says. Watch what he says back in like 28. He says on a film, he says, it's a little short clip. He says he believes that every man or woman, in every county should have to go to a county board once every 2 years. And before the county board, they're going to explain to the county board how they produced for the county, how they produced for their community, for the society that they live in. If they've been found to be consumers other than producers, instead of being producers and they're consumers, they are to be removed from society and to be placed, in a facility where they can produce instead of being consumers. They have to show why they should still be allowed to exist in society. So right, it's funny nowadays. Right, well, watch it. It's on YouTube. George Ross Shaw, talking about being a producer, a consumer, and then it's funny that he sees somebody like George Bush Jr. saying, "Go out and consume. Go out and consume. Do your patriotic duty. Go out and consume." It's like, no, you're supposed to produce. We're supposed to be producers, not consumers. But you see how they got us totally believing in the opposite, that to be a consumer is the right thing to be and not to be a producer. If we're going to produce, they're going to tax us, they're going to slow us down, they're going to put regulations and controls on us, they're going to keep us doing everything that we can from being productive members of society to being consumers. That's the new golden rule. Because that way they have no problem getting rid of us. It's like, do you produce anything? No. So what good are you? You just consume, don't you? Yes. Well, then what good are you? You're no good for nobody. Get rid of them.